Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're digging into a fascinating report you sent over about a new initiative focusing on accessibility for rehabilitation patients.
Yes, it details efforts that really highlight some core issues in patient care.
And we want to understand, the real significance here. What does this reveal about mobility and getting the care you need?
It's quite profound when you think about it.
Because imagine this. Your wheelchair, your main way of getting around, breaks down. That could stop your treatment right there. No appointments, no therapy. It's a direct block to essential medical care.
Exactly. And this report looks at Sisong Hospital in Incheon. They're tackling this head on.
Okay, Sisong Hospital, so what are they actually doing? What's this service?
Well, they've launched a free wheelchair checkup and repair service. They do it weekly.
Free checkups and repairs.
Yes, collaborating with external professionals. They bring in experts.
And what parts do they focus on? The basic.
Pretty much the crucial stuff. Brakes, which is, vital for safety. The wheels, obviously essential for moving. And the frame itself, the structure.
And is this just for wheelchairs the hospital owns?
No, and this is really important. It covers patient-owned wheelchairs, too. The ones people depend on day in, day out.
Ah, that's key, isn't it? Because that is their lifeline for so many people.
It totally recognizes that reality.
The hospital has a strong view on this, I gather. Something about companionship.
They do. They put it quite powerfully. The start of companionship is in the right to move.
So more than just, like, a nice welfare program.
Much more. They see it as fundamental to actually solving healthcare access problems.
Makes sense.
And there's a quote from someone there that really drives it home.
Oh, yeah.
They said, "We only fixed one wheelchair, but the patient visited the outpatient clinic again."
Right.
Treatment isn't just what happens inside the hospital. Getting to the hospital is the very beginning of medical care.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really flips the perspective. Getting to the hospital is step one.
It shows how these seemingly small technical issues can be huge barriers.
And they didn't just assume this was a problem, right? They looked into it, surveyed patients.
Yes, they did an internal survey. The findings were pretty stark.
What did they find?
Over 60% of their patients use wheelchairs as their main way to get around.
Okay, the majority.
And about half of those patients had experienced their wheelchair being out of order at some point.
Half. That's a lot of people potentially stuck.
It really is. It means a significant number are vulnerable to having their treatment interrupted. It breaks that continuity of care.
Which is so critical for rehabilitation. You need that consistency.
Absolutely. If you can't make your appointments reliably.
The whole process falters. And what about the patients who use the service? How do they feel?
The feedback seems overwhelmingly positive. There's one quote.
Let's hear it.
A patient said, "I used to just ride it around while worrying about the cost of repair, but the hospital fixed it, so my body and mind feel at ease."
Ah, that's lovely. It addresses the financial worry, too, not just the physical fix.
Exactly. That mental burden lifted. And the numbers back it up. Over 90% said they received practical help.
90%. That's effective.
It really supports their campaign theme. Small fix, big companionship.
It really does capture it. Such a practical, tangible thing making a huge difference.
And it seems they're not stopping there.
Oh. What else is planned?
The report mentions expanding support. Things like psycho-emotional support programs are being considered.
Okay, broadening the scope beyond the mechanical.
And medication guidance services, too. It's about improving the overall quality of life.
More holistic view.
Definitely. And they also plan to work with local welfare groups to reach vulnerable people outside the hospital system.
Taking it out into the community, that's really commendable.
It shows a deep commitment. There's one final quote that sort of sums up their philosophy.
What's that?
"Ensuring mobility is protecting daily life, and what a hospital can do for patients is much broader and deeper than that."
That really resonates. Protecting daily life itself.
It shifts the focus, doesn't it? Healthcare isn't just treating illness inside the building.
It's about enabling access, enabling life outside the building, too.
Addressing those practical, everyday barriers.
So the big takeaway here, really, is that critical link between mobility and healthcare access.
Undeniably.
And this Sisong Hospital initiative, while maybe simple on the surface fixing wheelchairs, has this massive positive ripple effect on patient well-being.
A huge impact from a focused service. It works.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners.
Yeah, it prompts us to think, doesn't it, about all those often invisible hurdles people face.
Not just in healthcare.
No, in accessing all sorts of essential services. And it makes you wonder, What other creative, community-focused solutions could tackle these kinds of challenges?
Right. What small fixes could make a big difference elsewhere, maybe even in our own communities?
Definitely something worth considering.